The sun had just set when Detective Jack Leon was summoned to a cabin that was deep in the woods on the edge of the city. The full moon was the only natural light.
Yikes.
Jack said to himself when he got to the cabin. Even if he didn't know what was waiting for him inside the cabin, he would have thought it was creepy. But unfortunately, Jack knew what was inside the creepy cabin, and it was going to be something that would give even him, a veteran homicide detective, nightmares.
Yeah, come on in.
Hey, how you doing, Jack?
Hey.
The cabin had no electricity, so the cabin was lit up by lights that uniformed officers had brought to the crime scene. When Jack stepped into the cabin, he couldn't help but think that something was going to jump out from the shadows at him. The cabin was well made and sturdy. It had been illegally constructed, and there were no records of it, so Jack had no idea who built it. Immediately, Jack saw 4 bodies. A man was sitting upright on the couch. A woman was on a chair beside the couch. A woman was in a bed in the corner of the room. And a man's body was sitting in a chair at a table in the center of the room. The bodies on the furniture and the bed looked strange and discolored.
Ain't that something, boss? There's another room at the back.
Huh.
We think it was a taxidermy lab.
Jesus. I was told it was in here, but I didn't believe it. I mean, can you believe that these people were...
Stuffed? Nah, I can't say I've ever seen anything like that in my life. And I've seen some crazy stuff.
What about the body at the table?
You mean the smelly one? Yeah, he ain't got no preservatives in him. I don't know how long he's been dead, but it's been a while. You should have smelled it when we first got here. We've aired it out a bit, but holy shnikes, it was bad before. He's the only one that's got any kind of marks of violence on him.
That's so...
Jack trailed off. He wasn't much for swearing, but he wanted to swear when he examined the cabin. Jack had been to many crime scenes, but this one was the weirdest he could remember. And it wasn't like he was going to forget something like a bizarre crime scene.
Who found the cabin?
Some hiker who got lost. He found it, last night. He got into the cabin through a window that was unlocked. He climbed in, he saw what was in here, and he left.
Did he touch anything?
Nah, we don't think so. Found his footprints in the dust near the window.
Huh.
He only took a few steps inside, saw the bodies, and then got the hell out of here. Can't say I blame him. We only had one officer go in and look around. It wasn't me, though. This place gives me the creeps.
So no one's touched anything?
That's right, boss.
All right, thanks.
I'll be outside if you need me. And, I'm hoping you don't need me.
Besides the bodies, something immediately caught Jack's attention.
Huh. What's this?
Jack said. It appeared to be a diary. The writing was tiny, and it went edge to edge, filling up both pages. Jack flipped to some other pages. They were all filled with the writing.
Oh, yikes. Well, looks like I've got some bedtime reading to do.
Jack then went into the back room of the cabin, which he assumed was the taxidermy lab. He immediately noticed the taxidermied ravens that decorated the room. Jack was surprised at how clean the room was. It was dusty, but Jack expected to find it bloody and gory. It reminded him of the morgue, except it was all made of wood. There was a table where the taxidermist did his work. It drained out the bottom, just like the table in the morgue. There was no running water in the cabin, but there was a bucket in the corner. Jack realized there must be a rain barrel or a stream nearby. There was also some artwork on the walls, for lack of a better word. One was a wood plaque with the message, "Leave my loneliness unbroken." There was also a bunch of numbers engraved into a wooden cross.
Wonder if that means anything.
Jack said aloud to no one. Jack then went back into the main room. He looked in the bed. The woman's skin was a disturbing shade of brown. She was lying on the side of the bed closest to the wall.
I wonder if anyone slept with the body.
Then Jack walked over to the living room area. The skin on these bodies were decayed shades of brown. Jack figured out the motive of the killer by looking at the setup of the bodies. He or she was a lonely person and probably had a hard time keeping relationships. So, he or she killed some people and stuffed them so that they never left him or her. Jack walked over to the table in the middle of the room. Jack hazarded to guess that the man had died by suicide. A semi-automatic handgun was on the floor under his right hand. Even though the body was severely decayed, he saw a hole in the right side of his head. Bugs were coming out of it. Jack noticed the man's wallet in his breast pocket. He pulled it out and looked at the driver's license inside. His name was Carter Buck. He was 54 years old. On the table in front of him was a dusty tape recorder. Jack pressed play on the recorder.
This is Carter Buck. I poisoned Sarah Fitzpatrick, Tessa McLeod, and Jason Brady. I brought their bodies here and I stuffed them. I'm sorry for what I've done. I brought their bodies here.
Jack pressed stop on the recorder. Jack gave one last look around the cabin, and then he got out.
I'm heading back to the office. Make sure everything is photographed and then bagged.
You got it, boss.
The place made his skin crawl.
Hours later, Jack was going through the photographs of the crime scene.
Well, I'll be damned.
What did Jack figure out?
What did Jack figure out?
Thanks a lot for watching today's video. We'll have the answer to this video next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. An hour later, we'll have a brand new mystery. Thanks again for watching, and good luck with your investigation.